Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. I got Kevin Dorsey on the Sales Influence Podcast. Kevin, how you doing today, man?
For sure. So I'm Kevin Dorsey. Everyone calls me KD. The only people that call me Kevin are my wife and my mom, and both times I'm probably in trouble. I'm a father, I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a salesperson, a sales leader, and I'm passionate about it, man.
The no foreplay type of mindset. How do you're managing 100 people. How do you rehabilitate some of those people in your organizations?
Man, it starts with me going through therapy. You follow me, right? Like this has been my own journey as a sales leader, because you can't blame the team for skipping the foreplay when the leader is doing the exact same thing, right? And then this goes all the way up.
So, Kevin, sales fails. Let's go through Kevin's. It's almost like a Letterman thing, a top 10 sales fails. The first one here, almost got arrested while trying to get into a school to get a principal to sign a contract. Tell us about that, Kevin.
But in the moment, I was in sales mode. I was trying to get my contract signed. Yeah. But here we are at pretty much an empty school with a black man walking around the campus, poking his head in windows and shit, trying to test the doors. I'm like, how did I not get arrested? Another part of my journey as a leader, this was about 3 years ago now, I really got into the science of learning. How do we learn as human beings? Because again, back to the questions I ask myself, is God damn it, why won't they do it? Why won't they? Okay?
I had that same frustration. Why? Why won't they do it? No, they didn't do it.
Every sales leader listening right now their fists are clenched too. They're like, I know, KD. Why won't they? It's okay, well, they have been taught. All right, I've taught them. It is documented. Here's the script. We talk about it often. There it is, yet they still don't do it. Why not? Oh, because they're lazy, because of this. Okay, whatever. You throw those answers out and go, okay, well, if they've been taught and we talk about it often, why will they still not do it? Well, either it's a belief or it's a retention and recall. And this is where we miss in teaching, is to teach someone, they actually have to be able to recall it in the moment. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they didn't actually learn it. We were never taught how to learn. We were taught how to take tests. Mm-hmm. We were never taught how to learn, right? We learned how to take a test, remember something long enough to take that test, and then we never remember it again. We can't recall it. And so I started reading a lot on learning. And what as salespeople and as sales leaders that we miss on is how much repetition it takes to actually learn something. And where do we, I said this on stage a couple of years ago, I don't know about you, obviously you do a lot of speaking. I get on stage, I have no idea what I say, right? I black out while I'm up there, then I get off, and then people tell me what I say.
You were awesome.
And, you were. Right. And I'm like, someone came and was like, yo, that line on practice was amazing. I'm like, tell me about that line on practice that I said. And they said, you said, the best practice on purpose, the rest practice on prospects. And that is what a lot of salespeople do, is they're practicing on prospects. They go through your training, they go through your session, and the manager goes, okay, now go do it. And the first time they're trying to do it is with the prospect, right? If you think about how long it takes to get good at something, right? What's the classic 10,000 hour rule, right? 10,000 hours, which has been butchered a lot over the past decade or so. But 10,000 hours of purposeful practice, not 10,000 hours of doing the thing. So let's do this real quick for a salesperson. If they run a demo a day, how long will it take for them to get 10,000 demos?
A long time. Okay?
A long time. We're talking almost 5 years. Almost 5 years to get there. That's why most salespeople never get good at it, because they're not even practicing. That's just doing 10,000 demos. So when it comes to learning, right, to wrap on this, yes, I have playbooks. Yes, I document. Yes, I blueprint a lot of things, but then we do a ton of repetition, practice and role plays and chunking sessions, speed work, all sorts of things that we can do so they can retain it and recall it in the moment.
I love it. When you're dealing with new salespeople, I want you to direct this comment towards salespeople who, maybe one day want to be in your position, want to be VP of sales, you're inside sales. What do they have to start doing, man? I know you've gone through a lot of it already, but just repeat the roadmap. These are the things you need to hit. and stop being lazy. Hit these things, do these things, be consistent. What are some of the things that they need to do?
Well, why else wouldn't they do this? And then you start getting into, okay, well, why would someone not pick up the phone? I want my team to make more cold calls. Why wouldn't someone pick up the phone? Well, they don't know how. Okay, maybe I got to teach them better. They're afraid. What are they afraid of? Why are they afraid? Right? Now you start getting into like the emotion side of like why people don't do things, right? So I think that was a big shift for me where I was hitting numbers, but I didn't feel good and my team didn't feel good. And then you start to watch them go the wrong direction. Like they almost can't muster up enough to keep it going. And so starting to ask those sorts of questions of like, well, why am I not getting the results that I want? And then going down that path. That's just a travesty. It's actually just an insult to our entire profession that we don't take this shit seriously. Like most people put in 10 times as much effort into their high school sport or band or instrument than they do to their sales career. So the first place is learn. The information's out there. There's people like you and me and books and courses out there giving this to you. Right? Like, so learn what it means to be a salesperson. Learn how people make decisions. Learn how people make choices. Learn what motivates people, right? Like, learn there first. Then you got to practice it. Like, actually intentionally practice this. Find a mentor, find a friend, and practice it. So when you're walking into that prospect's office or you're on the phone with that prospect, and salespeople, we've all been there. I know what it feels like to make $200 in a row. No one answers. And all of a sudden, Victor answers, and you're like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, who is this? Oh, it's Kevin. I'm calling from your local. You missed it. That was your shot, and you weren't ready because you hadn't been practicing. The only time that you have call reluctance is because you're thinking of yourself, not of the prospect. You're worried about
heavy, man. You're some heavy brother, man. You're a heavy brother, man. I love it. Okay. I love it.
You're thinking about how you're going to look, how you're going to sound, how you're going to fail, it's all focused on you. That's where the fear comes in.
And I think you really nailed it, because I always tell people you don't have to love what you sell, but you should love what it does for your customer. You know what I mean? Yes.